Hello, dear parents and guardians. Today I'm making a video for you. Anybody that helps take care of a pre-K or kindergarten age child. We're going to look at one of the most famous curriculum books that schools use. It's The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. If you're not familiar with this story, it's the story of the metamorphosis or life cycle of a butterfly. The story starts with an egg. The egg changes into a caterpillar, which gets bigger and bigger and bigger. He wraps up in his chrysalis form, and at the end, of course, he turns into a beautiful butterfly. There are so many pre-K and kindergarten level skills that you can use with this book. The key to reading, Mom and Dad, is to talk about the books, not just read them. Okay? So that was my thinking for today's video. We're going to look at this very famous pre-K book, possibly the most famous one right now, and see what skills you can help your child learn even before they get to big school. Okay? Let's start with science because that's sort of the most obvious skills that you can learn from this story. The science skills that a pre-K or kindergarten child can learn from this book are number one, the life cycle. At the beginning of the story, there's an egg. It changes to a small caterpillar. The caterpillar gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you have the butterfly. You can talk to your child about the changes that go throughout the story and how all things that are alive change. They're either born or hatched. They change, they learn, they get bigger, they lay eggs or they have babies, and it starts all over again. That sequencing of life cycle is something that your child can use for many, many, many different things, including reading skills, which we'll talk about in a minute. So we've got life cycle, Mom and Dad. The second thing this book can help your child learn is about healthy choices. Now, the caterpillar starts off eating some food that would be healthy for a grown up, I'm used to talking to 4 year olds, healthy for a human, fruits, lots of different fruits. But then the little caterpillar wanders into junk food territory. And he eats ice cream and pickles and cakes and salami and cupcakes. And because of that, he gets a stomach ache. So what does he do? He eats through one green leaf because that's what he's really supposed to eat. And then he feels better. The creator of the story, Eric Carle, puts actual holes in the paper so that you can see through it as if a caterpillar had actually eaten. So making healthy food choices, both for a caterpillar or for a person, you can teach your child with using this book. Those are some science skills. Let's look at reading skills. Beyond reading the story with your child, beyond having them read the story back to you, there are lots of other reading topics that you can help your child with now with this book. Vocabulary. Mom and Dad, the more new words that your child learns, the better. It'll help their brain grow. It'll help their reading and decoding when they get a little bit older. And the vocabulary in this book is very, very rich. First, you have your science terms: egg, caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly. You can teach them the word metamorphosis. That vocabulary word is not in this book, but that's the process that's occurring in the story, is the process of change or metamorphosis. 4 year olds like to say that big word, Mom and Dad. They like to try. Metamorphosis. Just try it with your child, see what happens. The other vocabulary words in this book are the names of the foods, both the healthy and the unhealthy food. Does your child know the word salami? Do they know the word sausage? Do they know the word Swiss cheese? and how Swiss cheese has holes in it, just like everything else that was eaten in the story. So you've got science vocabulary, you've got health vocabulary, and that's going to help your child when one day at school they not only get this story read to them, but they learn to actually read the words themselves. Okay? Make sure I'm not skipping anything there. Oh, yes, I did. Days of the week. When your child goes to pre K or kindergarten, they're going to learn the order of the days of the week. In our class, we sing a song: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, ding. And then we repeat. They'll be sequencing those words once they know them and putting them in order. Knowing those words, days of the week, that's going to enrich their vocabulary, reading, and writing skills as well. In the story, the caterpillar eats through an apple on Monday and then two pears on Tuesday. And the author keeps listing the days of the week in order. So, those are some great, great words that you can help your child learn and talk about using the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Now, here's the subject that I think your child can learn the most from using this famous book. And guess what, guys? It's math skills. That's right, math skills. In pre K and kindergarten, there are many, 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 many little subcategories under math curriculum. Let's see what they are. The most obvious is the sequencing, putting things in order: first, second, third, fourth. Using those words, those ordinal number words, is very, very important for listening vocabulary and later for math itself, such as number order, place value, things like that. Knowing first, second, third, fourth, fifth, those words, it's going to help your child in math. Counting, counting how many. In the story, the amount of food that the caterpillar eats through changes. He eats through only one apple, but he eats through two pears. So you could talk to your child about counting how many in a set. A set tells you how many. Which set is bigger? You can ask your child. The apple set or the strawberry set? Having your child count using one-to-one correspondence. What does that mean, Mom and Dad? All that means is when they touch to count, that they say the numbers at the same time. And then when they're all done, they tell you how many altogether in the set. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many in the set of strawberries? 4. These seem like simple, easy, obvious things to us, Mom and Dad, but to a 3, 4, or 5-year old, these are very abstract concepts. So hold your child's finger, tell them to get their counting finger ready, and as they touch each food, help them say the numbers in order. Then, when they get really good at one-to-one, then you start asking the big question: how many altogether? How many in that set of strawberries? Because once they learn to count and then stop, they also have to learn how many means the last number that you counted or said out loud. Awesome, awesome book for this. And even with the junk food, Mom and Dad, there's a lot of one-to-one correspondence counting opportunities and counting total, how many in a set. It's a really, really big math skill, Mom and Dad, in pre-K and kindergarten. Some more math skills are classifying. Classifying means grouping things so that they match. I tell my students we're going to make a match. That phrase, make a match, you can use in every subject there is. For math, we're going to make a match looking at size. Let's start with size. Of course, in the story, the caterpillar starts off, he's very, very small. And then as he eats and as he grows, in the end, Sawyer can get the picture. There it is. Of course, he gets very, very big. His size changes. Talking about size in the book first, then go play with your child in their room. Find their Legos, find their stuffed animals, whatever their favorite toy is, and tell them, hey, let's sort these toys by size. That's called classifying. Let's sort. Let's put small things in this pile, medium-sized things in this pile, and great big things in this pile. Legos, mom and dad. If you have Legos at home, awesome, easy sorting opportunity because they come in so many different sizes. So you've got sorting by size. Then there's another way to sort in this story. You can sort healthy foods, not healthy foods. Get a piece of paper, mom and dad. Draw two circles on it and have your child draw healthy foods in one circle, not healthy foods in the other circle. They're sorting, which is a huge math skill in pre-K and kindergarten. The last math skill that you can use with this very, very famous book is color recognition. In pre-K, color recognition falls under the math curriculum. There are so many colors. Very obvious colors, of course, on the caterpillar itself. Each food has its own color. You might read this book for a couple of days with your child, and then when you go to the grocery store, say, hey, do you remember the very hungry caterpillar ate through a red fruit? He ate through four of those red fruits. What was it? They say strawberry. Hey, let's look for other red fruits today when we're at Walmart. Colors, purple, red, orange, green, and of course at the very end you've got all the colors together with the butterfly. So color recognition can also be used and reinforced with this book. Now, since I've got you here, mom and dad, and since this is the very first mom and dad video I've made on this channel, I'm going to share with you what I share with my parents during open house. That's when we sit down, parents sit down, and we explain to them what our curriculum is and how they can help their child at home. The number one thing that you can do to help your child in pre-K, in math, science, social studies, reading, all subjects, is to read with them every day. Now, if you notice, I didn't say read to them, but read with them. Some days, yes, you read the words in the book. After they know the story really, really well, let them read it back to you. That's called rereading. That's an actual skill that we test for our pre-K curriculum. Can a child retell a story? Now, they don't have to know verbatim every word in the text, but the vocabulary. The caterpillar ate blue plums. He ate some red strawberries. As long as the words are coming out of their mouth and they're turning the pages as they say those words, mom and dad, they're reading the story to you. Then, maybe another day, analyze the story. Analyze what actually happened without looking at the book. What was the very hungry caterpillar's problem? Most fiction picture books, the character has a problem. That's another actual topic in pre-K and kindergarten curriculum now, mom and dad. What was the character's problem and what was their solution? Use that word solution. Let them hear that. Well, in this book, the problem was the caterpillar was eating the wrong kinds of food and he didn't feel well. He got a stomach ache, right? Because he was eating unhealthy food. he solved his problem, his solution, was when he ate through the green leaf because that's what he was supposed to do. That's how he solved his problem. Then maybe the next day, talk about the setting. Children have to be able to look at a fiction book and identify the setting. In my class, we define setting as where did the story happen? Was it outside, inside, in outer space, or underwater? Those are the 4 categories that I use. Talk with them about the setting because if you look at the story for many, many pages, there are no clues for the setting. But the most important stages of the metamorphosis for the caterpillar, they are outside. And don't have your child just say, oh, they're outside. Ask them, how do you know that? You want to lead them to say, looking at the picture and analyzing it. Well, I see the moon, I see the sky, and I see a leaf and a plant. Vocabulary, vocabulary, vocabulary. Getting their eyes to look at all the details of the illustration. That's very, very helpful. There are so many skills you can get from a good sequencing fiction book like this. We'll do more of these videos together, Mom and Dad. And, I know since this is a kids channel, you can't do comments on here. But if you have a question or a comment or something you'd like me to do or something you think you'd like to learn about, check my email. You can email me, it's on my channel page, and let me know because I always ask my parents in my classroom for feedback at the end of the year. I ask them, what was your favorite part of your child's pre-K year? Or what do you wish could have been done differently? What did you struggle with as a pre-K parent this year? So then next year I can try to help my parents and improve upon this very important job of teaching and raising 3, 4, and 5-year-old kids. All right? Thanks for listening, Mom and Dad. I can talk a lot when we're talking about pre-K skills. This was my first video doing it. I hope you learned something from it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.